Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight in to completely conquer single-subject experimental designs and, you guessed it, master baseline logic. It sounds like a lot, right? But honestly, we're going to break this down until it's crystal clear. So think about the contrast here. On one side, you've got total chaos, just a wild, completely unpredictable scatter of data. And then on the other, a beautiful, steady, rock-solid baseline. Now, if you wait until test day to figure this out, you're basically playing defense. You'll be wrestling with that chaotic data while the clock is ticking, instead of walking into that room armed with complete, stable clarity. All right, here's our roadmap for the day. First, we'll stop playing defense. Second, we're mastering baseline logic. Third, we'll hit visual analysis principles. And finally, number 4, you'll take the applied challenge. Okay, let's jump right into section 1, stop playing defense. It is definitely time to shift from a reactive study plan to a proactive, aggressive stance where you control the information. Single-subject experimental designs prove absolute internal validity. Let that really sink in for a second. These aren't just dry academic theories collecting dust in some textbook chapter. They are intensely practical tools. When we say absolute internal validity, it means you are proving without a shadow of a doubt that your specific intervention and absolutely nothing else caused the change in the behavior you're looking at. Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Baseline Logic. In practice, your ultimate experimental shield looks a lot like this classic ABAB timeline. You start with Phase 1, your initial baseline A1. Then comes Phase 2, the intervention, or B1. Next is Phase 3, verification, which is A2, where we actually withdraw that intervention. And finally, Phase 4 is your re-intervention, B2. I really want you to pay close attention to that crucial transition from the first intervention, B1, right back to that second baseline, A2. Because honestly, taking that intervention away, that is the actual heartbeat of how we prove our case here. So first up in this logic is prediction. Simply put, it's a data-driven forecast of future behavior. This happens right at the very start. You're looking at the data in your first baseline, A1, and you're forecasting exactly what that behavior is going to look like in the future if you do absolutely nothing and make zero changes to the environment. And then we get to verification. This is the act of pulling the intervention entirely away to show that the behavior actually returns to its original baseline level. Think of it like flipping a light switch off just to prove that the switch is actually what's lighting the room, right? You are verifying that the environment, specifically your intervention, is what actively controls the behavior, not some random outside confounding variable that just happened to occur at the exact same time. You are literally proving cause and effect. Which brings us to Section 3, Visual Analysis Principles. Okay, visual property number 1 is trend. That's the overall direction of the data path. Think of it kind of like the trajectory of an airplane. Is it taking off, descending, or just cruising flat? That slant, that's your trend. Visual property number 2 is level. This pinpoints exactly where the data centralizes vertically on the y-axis. Sticking with our airplane analogy, this is the specific altitude where the plane is flying. And visual property number 3 is variability. This is the high vertical scatter, or the bounce, surrounding your established trend line. If the points are just bouncing wildly up and down, you've got high variability. In our airplane, well, that's the turbulence. But if they're tight to the line, it's a smooth ride with very low variability. So bringing all 3 of those together, trend is the direction of the path, level is the vertical cluster, and variability is the noise or the scatter. I'm telling you, master these 3 prongs of translation and you will absolutely conquer any graph translation they try to throw at you on the exam. These are literally your keys to the kingdom. All right, final stop, Section 4, take the applied challenge. I want to pose a really direct question to you here. How do exam item writers turn these seemingly straightforward single-subject parameters into brutal level 3 choice traps? Because they know you memorize the definitions, right? But what happens when they present a graph specifically designed to mislead your eye? Will you be able to separate the trend from the variability when you're actually under pressure? As you think about how to navigate those traps, I really want you to remember this simple but incredibly profound quote: "Mastery beats speed." True analytical fluency, meaning you really truly understand the underlying mechanics of baseline logic and visual analysis, that always takes precedence over just rushing through test questions to get to the end. Take a breath, look at the visual data, and rely on your mastery. So here is exactly how you put that mastery to the test. Step 1. Head over to your student dashboard at bxmededucation.com and unlock the complete written guide. Step 2. Challenge yourself with the interactive questions waiting for you. And Step 3. Verify your analytical fluency. Before you head into the portal to conquer that challenge, though, I want to leave you with this final thought. Now that you hold the actual visual keys to proving absolute internal validity, will you ever be able to look at a simple data line on a graph the exact same way again? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you inside the portal.